Hi and welcome back to the Movement Lesson Sports Academy. In this video we're going to have a look at some amateur golf swings. There's some common problems that you'll find throughout amateur golf swings, so if you're looking to improve your own swing, check out the information in this video because some of this is going to be able to help you with your own swing. For more video analysis, then subscribe to the Movement Lesson Sports Academy YouTube page. You can also check back at the movementlesson.academy website, the movementlessonuk.co.uk website, which also got a movement Lesson Sports Academy blog on that as well. And you can also get in touch and tweet us at @_ML_UK. So onto the footage. What have we got? Some common problems. First thing we're going to look at is weight transfer. Now, weight transfer seems something really simple, but gets lost in a modern world. We don't actually practice much effective weight transfer, and we get lazy. We have jobs where we're sat down. So it's something that when we come to sports, we're not doing naturally. Take a look at this first swing. I want you to have a look at the weight transfer here. Look, as he strikes the ball, I was leaning backwards. So it looks like he's transferred from back foot to front foot, but he's actually leaning back. There's more footage coming up. There's not an effective weight transfer in here, so there's a side-on shot here. Watch out when he's striking the ball, when he's making contact. We'll play that one again at a slower speed again. As he makes contact with the ball, his weight is not forward, his hip is not over his front foot, and he ends up leaning backwards. The hip in the backswing doesn't come over the back foot, and it doesn't make it over the front foot, and he's leaning backwards and having to take backward steps as well. Another example here. Look at this, slow it down. The hip doesn't come over the foot. You see, no weight transfer forward, and as he strikes the ball, he's leaning backwards. Even though that back foot is rotating and toes are pointing down, there's not effective change of weight transfer. Hips over the back heel, doesn't come across. There's good rotation, but again, you saw it there, making contact with the ball, leaning backwards. You want to use your hips. You want to lead with your hips. You want to transfer your weight to help generate your momentum, generate the power of your shot. And there's also going to be more control if we're leaning forward. We want a clean weight transfer. Watch Dustin Johnson. Brilliant weight transfer. There's no weight transfer at all there, leaning backwards as he's making contact with the ball. So he's going to be off balance and relying on some counterbalance to keep him upright. And you see there's a reason why those first couple of steps are backwards, because he's falling backwards. The weight transfer is leaning back. His weight transfer hasn't got back to front. This is a good example of when he makes contact with the ball. As he strikes the ball, look how he's leaning back, off balance as he hits it. And there's a fall to the side. If you get that weight transfer right, back foot to front foot, there's going to be more momentum into the ball, there's going to be more control. Off balance, falling back as he's hit the shot. Next example, we're looking at weight transfer again, but this is almost at the other end of the spectrum. You'll notice the hip and how there's a collapse of the hip because there's not a really effective pelvic strike in here. So he's got to compensate. There's going to be a big weight transfer, but he actually goes too far to compensate and he has to then work harder to bring himself back in. All of these problems without the effective weight transfer, without an effective pelvic strike, the more that you play, the more risk of injury you've got. There's a lot of moving parts here, And again, here there's a lot, after he hits the ball, he's falling back a lot of the time. You actually see quite a couple of times when he's hit the ball, there's going to be a collapse of the pelvis, a collapse of the hips. A rounded back because we've not got that effective pelvic strike. And the weight transfer, look how he really transfers that weight across, but he's actually off balance. And as he hits the ball, then there's a collapse and he drops backwards. Improving your pelvic strike, really your pelvis, your hips is key throughout your golf swing. The movement should start, your backswing should start from your hips. Your swing should start from your hips. It should be your hips pulling your chest and your shoulders and your arms through. Without that effective pelvic strike, you're going to see a hunched over shot. You're going to have to compensate. He's coming a long way over his hips. You saw there the collapse after he'd made contact with the ball. Without that effective pelvic strike, you're just having to compensate. That's putting more strain through the back as he's hit it. And then there's a step and a collapse backwards. Here we go again. Compensation, long way over. Hips and head and chest all out of line. And look, as he's hit it, there's a couple of steps because he's not got that pelvic strike in. There's a collapse and he's got to adjust his feet to make up for that. With a more effective pelvic strike, your hips are going to start the rotation a lot more. It's going to be more effective rotation. You're going to have more control in your shot and you're going to have better balance. We're not going to have to compensate with such a big knee bend, so many moving parts, and it's enough balance as he's making contact with the ball and he's collapsing with his hips. There's one more. And you see there actually how the hips drop straight away. It's quite clear here. We can see these. Slow it down again. Watch this hip drop. Big knee bend. Making up for the hips not being very effective. And look at that drop there in the hips. Okay, lacking that pelvic strike that would make the swing more effective. Now this, you see this quite a lot on the golf course. Anyone who's not played very regularly, who's just starting out on the golf career, there's a lack of rotation. Watch how the bottom half stays very still. It's all shoulders involved. There's no hips starting the movement. There's a lack of rotation. Where we're looking for really the hips to do the movement. We want a whole body movement. We want the whole body rotating and working together. If we're relying just on the arms, then you're just trying to muscle the ball as far down the fairway as you can. You're going to lack control with your shot. You're going to put a lot of strain on the arms. See, it's all arms, no hips, and a lack of rotation. See the lack of rotation again there. You can see with that slow-mo, the hips almost move after the arms. You want the hips leading your arms through, whereas there is very much the bottom half stays still. The top half comes through, and then the hips follow the shoulders. We want the hips leading. That's where we need to be generating our torque from. That's where we need to be generating our momentum from. Last one. Looking the same. Increase the rotation. Is going to make this a much more effective, much more controlled swing. All upper body. No hip movement until he's actually made contact with the ball. We'll watch that one more just to highlight it. Zero weight transfer at all. Top of the backswing, the hips haven't moved over at all. There's no rotation involved there. And as he's made contact with the ball, the hips are just starting to move now after the shoulders that have already come through. They've not led them through at all. How important is rotation? How important is pelvic strike? How important is weight transfer? Let's look at some other. These aren't pro golfers. These are amateurs. These are baseball players, some Major League Baseball's top players on a driving range. Check out the rotation, check out the weight transfer here of all three. Justin Turner, Cody Bellinger, and Mike Trout. There's the hips on the movement, the weight transfer. Look at the rotation. Look how effortless that is. Yeah, he's probably got big muscles, but it's not his arms that are driving that ball. It's his whole body. Cody Bellinger, this is superb weight transfer. Look at the hips driving forward there. Look at the level of rotation. Look at his back foot, toes pointing down the fairway. That's brilliant. Look at this back foot rotating here from Cody Bellinger. That is superb rotation. But look at the weight transfer. No, he's leaning back as he's hit the ball. That's the baseball player in him looking to hit the home run. Mike Trout, again, this is superb. This is weight transfer, rotation, pelvic strike. The hips are starting all of these movements. Big weight transfer, big hips starting the movement. And he has taken a step back himself. But as he's made contact with the ball, the weight's coming over his front hip. And the rotation is superb again. Really, really important. Rotation, pelvic strike, weight transfer. Three things to look at that's really going to help improve your golf swing. You see how important it is. Baseball and golf, similar features. Again, baseball players, when they're in the batter's box, for an effective batsman, they need to have good pelvis, they need to have good rotation, they need to have good weight transfer. That's three fundamentals of baseball swing that you're seeing playing out on the effective golf swing as well there. They're amateurs at golf, but they've got those key movement foundations that will make them a great golfer as well. For more analysis like this, subscribe to the Movement Lesson YouTube page. If you want more videos, if you've got anybody you'd like to look at specifically to break down their movement, drop it in the comments. If you want to find out more how you can get in touch, how you can improve your swing or improve your movement, if you want a movement lesson yourself, get in touch and we'll be able to arrange that. Good luck. Hope it helps your golf swing. See you again.